Yes.
Hello,
Hi.
everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, whichever time it is that you're watching now, wherever you are. Blessings to you. It's me, Miosha Culpepper. I am the founder of the nonprofit organization Times of Expression and Refreshing Ministries. I also wear a few more hats outside of the nonprofit, but in this organization, we serve faith leaders in applying self-care strategies to their life. So thank you so much for joining us and welcome. And I am just so excited. I tell you, the enemy tried to stop everything from trying to block me and trying to make me cancel this. I was like, I am not canceling this. I'm so glad, Nicole, that you were able to get on today. I just thank you so much for your presence. And so I got to introduce who our special business coach, Nicole Donnelly, as a former pro snowboarder turned CEO and mother. She has sought out people who inspire and challenge her to get better in every area of life. After several concussions, 3 years living in her car, broken bones, slipped discs, living a too stressed to function life while writing on 3 books and creating a string of highly successful companies. She has learned to relax, be happy, and have earned her stripes as a gritty global entrepreneur. Whether talking about emotional intelligence and challenges, running an ultra marathon, being a mother, pulling big air at X Games, or launching, growing, and selling baby legs, which is a multi-million dollar international business. She is fiercely committed to sharing the powerful lessons she has learned along her journey. Now, it's simply a matter of being in action and being gentle with yourself when things don't go as planned, then taking the right actions over and over again. That's her motto. And we just thank you so much and welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. That was fun to hear the introduction.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I tell you, this is the last quarter
Yep.
of the year. And in this quarter, it gets dark. People, we start seeing depression, anxiety, hormones out of balance, emotions. And I was like, I got to get Nicole here, talk to us about emotional self-care. So I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
What is emotional self-care and why is it so important?
Oh, emotional self-care is when you are really cognizant of how you are feeling and how it's affecting your way of being with people and caring for yourself so that you can be, so that you can be the person, show up as the person and have the presence that you desire to have to make that impact. And like you were saying, we're going into where a lot of people get stressed and depressed this time of year. And it's so important to take a time out. And it's okay to feel stressed. It's okay to feel depressed. And there's nothing wrong with it. It is normal and part of our human experience. So when feeling that way too, it's like to just take a moment and be okay with it. You can do meditations, but the more that you make your feelings wrong, the harder it is to get rid of them. And it's that, when you focus on it so much, it just sticks with you. And if you can be okay with it, and it's same with fear too. It's like it can be riding alongside you in the car, like you might have ride or die anxiety.
Right.
It's there and you don't stop your adventures, you don't stop your journey, and you're aware of it and you're like, okay, buddy, here we go, you know?
Yes, yes. Wow. I tell you, I wrestle with emotions because when I was younger, like in my 20s, my emotions just out of whack. And I was like, you know what? I can't control them. Let me just shut them down.
Mm.
So then I learned how to shut them down. Now I'm in my 40s. In my 40s. So I'm learning, with my self-care journey, understanding that it's okay to tap in and to be you.
Yeah. And as we change ages and stages, our emotions look different too.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You stuffed it down for a bit, there's nothing wrong with that. It was just a change in how you decided to express yourself. And so coming to an expression that works for you, some people it's a lot more lively and active and you're going to know how they're feeling. And other people, like with my husband, he's like, I'm not sure how I feel. And there's sheets and graphs and stuff. You can look at different emotions that's kind of spur from other emotions. So you can actually identify like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. So if you've stuffed it can show up as different things. Like it might show up as anger. It might show up as acne. It might show up as,
True.
right? Like different body parts can hurt. There's different chemistry. Because if you stuff it, it can have an impact inside of you.
Yes.
And, it is important to kind of do that cleaning and acknowledge like this is what's going on for me. So this is with the emotionality text messages that we send out. We do that, we prompt it in the daily lessons. Sometimes it's about just like learning what is going on with you in the moment. Sometimes it's about interacting with other people in your life. But it's a practice that you just have to do every day, really. And it can be just in a simple 1 minute while you're brushing your teeth, or 2 minutes, as the dentist says, you know, two
Right.
minutes of brushing your teeth and reflecting on how you feel. And you might start with your physical body. You might just take inventory of, I have tense shoulders, or my heart feels heavy, my stomach is upset. And then you can, if you start to notice that and acknowledge how your body's feeling, then you can start to pull out some of the emotions too. And it's like, oh, when my stomach is upset, I'm anxious or nervous. And like just to name it will help to take its power away.
Yeah, I remember the was that Tuesday morning when I was in so much pain. I didn't know whether to cry, and I was trying like I need to tap into my emotions. I need to understand how I'm feeling. I was like, but I don't know, I just hurt. So I was everywhere. But I took that opportunity to try to see what I was actually feeling, and it actually helped me to calm down because I was able to actually recognize the type of emotion that I was feeling, which I don't know what it was, but just to be able to just tap into there, it allowed me to get a calm balance to actually make a decision of what I need to do.
Yeah.
So wow.
And
So go ahead.
I was going to say, us women, we have such a high pain tolerance for physical pain. Our bodies are made that way so we can birth babies, and so we can put up with so much pain before we actually take ourselves in and take care of ourselves, and so we can build up so much that is not dealt with. And sometimes if you journal, like if you started going through all what your thoughts were and your emotions, you can uncover different layers as you go, and just free form of like, even if you said over and over, like, I hurt, I feel bad, I feel sad, I feel angry, I hurt, I hurt, I hurt,
Yeah.
just journaling freestyle like that, you can uncover some interesting things as long as you're not judging yourself while you're doing it. And that is such a big part, is like, just let yourself go and flow, and it's okay. And you are perfect how you are and perfect how you are not.
That's the main important key right there, because we can be our worst critics. That is
Yeah.
so important. I'm so glad you said that. So, how can we find out if we need to enhance our self care for our emotions?
Oh, you would be born, be a human, be a living, breathing human. Um, so emotional intelligence is the number one predictor of success, right? That is in my email signature. And because it's a reminder to myself, and it's a reminder to everyone else, like it is so important that you acknowledge how you are doing, and also acknowledge that for others in your life. And so we have a quiz at emotionality.co, and you can take the quiz and find out what your current emotional needs are. And sometimes these can change. For some people, it's pretty static. And then you'll get a read on what's going on. And just by answering 6 questions, it can help to get a read on where you currently are. And then you'll get, like, your need could be to create or do something new. Your need could be to connect. And there's kind of two sides of it. It's like when you are using it as a superpower, it looks one way. And when you're kind of falling victim to it or in overdrive in that area, it looks another way. And really getting to know that in yourself is kind of the first step in this emotional care.
Yes. And please say that website again, because I went to it and I was like, it's like it put the pieces of the puzzles together for me. Because when I'm like, we're interacting with people, it's like, I know the number one way to know that, I mean, I feel fulfilled is when I'm connected. Yes. And when I'm going on your site and taking that and seeing connect, I'm like, wow.
Of course. And
so I want everyone to know that website again.
Yeah, it's emotionality.co. And emotionality.co. And for connect, like usually you'll see this in kids a lot, physically exhibited. When they want to connect, they will get clingy. And they will be all up in your face, up in your lap, and you're trying to work. And they're like, hey, mommy, And and then in adults, you might be like, oh, that person's annoying. They keep on, right? They're annoying because they're around too much. And you might not think of them as clingy the same way you would imagine a kid. And that person probably just really wants to connect, and a way to disarm that monster. Or if you're feeling that way yourself, is to give 5 minutes of uninterrupted direct connection with that person. My husband's a really high connect, and he'll just start talking to me and like picking at all these things. And he just wants my attention for like 5 minutes. And if I give him undivided attention for 5 minutes, then he can go on his way and he goes and does something else. If I don't, then he'll keep at it. He'll keep at it for like an hour, You
sound like me with my husband. It's like, what are you doing? I was like, I just want to be next to you.
Yeah. And if you had his undivided attention for 5, 10, 15 minutes, that's what you want.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can go like talk to a girlfriend, get on a message, chit chat, whatever. Right. But you might not even know that that's your driver. And you might not know that that's how you take care of yourself.
Wow.
And so then you can articulate to him, like, can I just get, so with my husband, we'll go for a walk, and he likes that because then we'll go, I want to walk and he wants to talk. So we do a walk and talk, and then he feels connected. I get my exercise and we're both happy. But the win is when we got to the point of realizing what would work in the scenario so that he feels heard and cared for, and that I feel like I'm caring for myself too, because the physical activity is really important.
Yes.
And for him, he really wants to talk to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes sense with marriage, because you got to be on the same, that communication, that love language.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And we've had such breakdowns and breakthroughs. We've been married for almost 3 years now, so it's still new. And it's, there's some moments of like sitting on the floor and crying and being like, is this forever? Is this what I signed up for? And it's like, how do I articulate myself so that I feel cared about and I feel heard in this situation? And that's what the emotional self-care is really about. It's that being able to voice yourself effectively and understand what you need, and to be able to ask for it. And that is not something that we're really taught in school or in church or anywhere. Like, who teaches you how to identify emotionally what you need and then ask for it effectively without make wrong on the other side? Like, I'm not making him wrong for how he's being. He's not making me wrong. We are working for this solution together. And then emotionally, we're both cared for.
Yes, that is so beautiful. Me and my husband, we've been married for July made 4 years. And it's been beautiful, because we actually had our roller coaster before we got married. I took him through the ring. I'm still trying to make him write a book about it. He had to go through boot camp. Like, you gonna understand me, you're gonna understand me. They was like, no, Mios, you gotta understand him too. It's not just gonna be your way as well.
Yeah. The Miosha boot camp.
That's a good title. I'm gonna tell him. But yes, that emotional self-care is so important. I mean, now that you say it, that's actually a highlight thing that's needed in marriage.
It is.
So to
It
understand.
is. And he didn't know how to articulate himself either and to ask for what he needed and not in a way that was calm, and like
Right.
where it didn't, because where he wasn't feeling like a victim in the situation. And, there's always that like the victim villain scenario too that's playing out. And it's like, how can we just neutralize it and talk about it objectively? Because there's me, there's you, and there's our relationship. And so what's going to feed me, what's going to feed you, and what's going to feed our relationship, and like not make each other wrong about it. That is the biggest thing to kind of diffuse the bomb. Is to get in a space where neither person is wrong and we're just creating what we want together.
Yes. And I used to always, because I was a fighter back in the day,
Oh yeah.
before I saved. So I looked at people as an enemy, and I was like, wait a minute, we're on the same team.
Yep.
Not my enemy. So I had to change my mindset.
And
you don't have to fight or flight mode anymore, Miosha. It's over.
And that's, my husband was really fighty too, like really fighty. And that was a big thing for him to really feel cared for by me, to where when I would say something, he wouldn't take it personally or get defensive, that it's a conversation. It's not a personal attack.
Yes.
And that has taken a lot of conversations. And with what we've been through the last year is a pressure cooker, with both of us working from home and my kid being at home, and it in a small space. It is, we live in the city, downtown Vancouver, and 2-bedroom condo. So just right on top of each other for, the last year and a half.
Wow. I've always wanted to go to Canada.
It's beautiful. I'm from Southern California, but I live up here, and I've been here 10 years, and it's gorgeous. We have water and mountains, and yeah.
I'm going to tell my husband, got to go. Speaking of the mountains because I love beautiful sceneries, what can a retreat or a getaway vacation do in assisting one with emotional self-care?
Yeah, I am such a big fan of retreats, like by myself and with friends, depending on the situation. For me personally, it gives me this time to just reflect on my life and get still and get to a place of clarity of what's really urgent and important when I come back. My husband went for 2 weeks in August and came back almost a completely different person, just really balanced and so much more level-headed and peaceful. And I seriously got an upgraded husband.
Wow.
I'm like, please go every year,
I know it. Just that getaway time is just get away from everything, clear your mind, breathe, relax, not worry about stressors. We're actually, my organization, Times of Expression Refreshment Ministries, we're getting ready for our first in-person event.
Oh.
Last year we supposed to have one, but we ended up going virtual because of the COVID.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go ahead and do it face to face, but it's going to be at a resort and spa. And I'm just looking forward to everyone just having a relaxing time. I'm going to do some prayer.
Yeah. It's so nice when you're away, because you don't have the expectations of, even if you're doing something virtually at home, there's still the dishes, the garbage, the laundry, and when you're on a retreat or out somewhere and things are taken care of for you, you don't have that, like the RAM in your head is not busy, with all of the maintenance and everything. And so you can operate at such a higher level too.
Mm-hmm.
Which Yeah, I love that and I need that and I have missed it over the last bit. And that's something when I look at my life design for a whole, like every year I want to have at least a week to myself, to go do a retreat or something.
Yes.
I want to have at least a couple with friends too. My girlfriend and I were talking about going for a weekend, up to spa and Whistler because we both have gift certificates. We're like, okay, we got to do this.
Oh, yes, yes. Wow. Yes, I love it. It's going to be an annual thing for the organization, but I try to do something at least once a month because I'm
Yeah.
an emergency response children's social worker.
Oh God.
On the front line. And I'm like, I need a retreat. I was like, just give me something once a month. So yeah, I'm so adamant, so passionate about self-care because it's just so important. We pour out so much, and there's nowhere to get poured back into. So,
No, and I mean, what you do, you're taking care of people all day. Like
mhm.
you're really taking care of people. They are their lives are in your hands.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so who's doing that for you?
Right,
You
right.
know? And if you can just relax and somebody else is taking care of you for a bit, I mean, that's got to be so nice.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, Nicole, thank you so much for tuning in on tonight. I really enjoyed you. I really do.
Thank
Um,
you.
if you do you have anything that you would like to share with the people?
I mean, I'd say go to emotionality.co, find out what your emotional needs are. And then if you feel compelled, we have a text message service where you get emotional support text messages every day, and it's based on your needs. We just started this, and our goal is to reach 1 million moms first and reach 1 billion people because moms influence so many people because they influence family and community because typically they're tied into schools and churches and women just hold so many people together.
Yes.
So that's who this is really designed to serve. And we want I can't give emotional support to everybody. Not personally, not one-on-one. And I can give everybody these emotional support text messages. So that would be my ask. And at a minimum, go to emotionality.co and learn about yourself. Learn what your emotional needs are and what your strengths and what to watch out for. And we'll have sign up for the email newsletter. We're going to give you a lot more information about yourself, like we've talked about, how to realize when you're looking to connect with your husband, how to articulate that and how to recognize what you need in that moment. Because it's just not, it's not, it's not how we're raised to be. It's not what we know. And if we can have these conversations from a peaceful place, then life starts to kind of even out and you'll be more effective, more peaceful. You can dissolve a lot of the drama in your life, and I want to bring joy to 1 billion people in my lifetime. And this is one way,
Yeah,
and bring more peace and ease to the world.
absolutely. Now I like to stay connected.
Yeah.
Why am I not on the text message? Is there a number? What did I do wrong? So when you take the test, it takes you through the process.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It wasn't connected a couple weeks ago. This is really new.
That's what it was. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Oh, I'll hook you up. We'll get you added and you can start getting your emotional support text messages.
Oh, thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. And everybody, make sure you go to emotionality.co.
Yes.
You gotta take it. I took it. It doesn't take long at all. It was amazing. I was like, oh my God, you gotta take it. Please take it, take it, take it, take it. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. And if also share with everyone. Let everyone know about this because we're going into the season now. Well,
Yeah.
we need some self-care with our emotions. It's gonna get dark, y'all. Some of y'all is already hidden.
Yeah.
So be preventative with your self-care when it comes to your emotions. So I pray that you may prosper and be in good health as your soul prospers. Until next time, we actually have another live coming up the part 2 with the colonic hydrotherapist, October 21st. It was so good. Last month we had to do a part 2. So more information be coming out with that. But thank you all so much. And again, Nicole, I can't thank you enough. I just love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I look forward to working more with you in the future.
Me too.
Awesome. So you all have a great night and God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. I believe us. I believe I stopped it on Facebook. Yes. So thank you so much, Nicole. I really appreciate you taking your time out and it was just I was like, oh, I gotta get her, I gotta get her. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Did you want to ask your cortisol question?
Oh, I forgot.
Okay. I mean, you can ask me right now. I figured it's if it was personal information, I mean, I'm happy to share.
Awesome. Yes. So yes, tell us about because I know there's a stress hormone,
Yeah.
cortisol. So yes, can you share about that, please?
Was there any specific question about an aspect of it?
Um, you know what he just said? Ask her about cortisol.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if maybe like levels maybe is what
Yeah.
it.
So as female hormones change and male hormones change too, like throughout your lifetime. And I have done tests where they test you at different times of day to see where your hormones are. And in the morning, your cortisol should be high, and that would wake you up. And yeah, that's the stress hormone. And so it should be high at that time. And before bed, it should be low, and your melatonin would start to kick in and you go to sleep. And like for me, my cortisol was high pretty much all the time. And a lot of people who lived in fear as a child will have high cortisol because they're in fight or flight all the time, which you kind of, mentioned.
Yes.
And your body is just in this stress state. And so I'm 43, and you get to this age and it can have a lot of the side effects start to come in from having that cortisol running all the time.
Wow. I
Yeah.
like I grew up in a very stressful as a child and had the fight or flight all the time. Like when I first started my colonic therapy, she still had, I started like at the beginning of this year, but she still has to try to calm me to just calm down. Like, I don't know how, I'm just like amped up, just automatic. She's like, calm down,
Yeah.
please calm down. So I may need to get my cortisol levels checked and understand how to get it balanced.
Well, yeah, and a big part of so when you're feeling that the stress part of it, so I have this, I would say physical therapist, but not we're not talking about exercise. It's he goes in and he works on loosening up different parts of my body, and it hurts because he'll just press really hard on one spot, and it can feel hard to me, and it's not to him. He does this kind of therapy that has these where there's points on your body that will release or unwind the stress, and sometimes they make me cry,
Yeah.
like because it's emotion, not pain, but it's like the emotion coming out.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll tell me to like breathe and think about something. So I used to be a professional snowboarder, and so he'll be like, okay, think about fresh powder, think about the snow. And because he noticed that my body relaxes when I think about that. And for some people, it's like, think about your dog, and that's what relaxes you. And so when you have those moments, there are things like mental cues of something that you love so much, and it can really help you to relax. And some people it's walking on the beach, or
That's me.
yeah, I love I live like on the water here, and a lot of the nights we'll walk and watch the sunset on the beach, because that brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
And when you're going, like I've had the colon hydrotherapy too, and So I got you. Like it's a funny feeling. And really it's that like breathing into it and feeling, just noticing where in your body is tense and consciously breathing into and relaxing those parts.
Mhm.
And in a situation like that, you have a physical trigger to where you're like, oh, I need to calm down this thing. But when you're going throughout your day, you don't have that. You're in meetings and you're interacting with people, but you're not in a specific thing where there's a physical thing that you breathe and relax it, you
Right.
know? And so your cortisol is running and you have no physical cues to that you need to calm it down.
True.
And so
Wow.
you don't even notice how like stressed or tense or anxious you might be. It's just running all the time.
Yeah.
And so there's the idea of you running your emotions instead of your emotions running you. And there's kind of like, and I have the cortisol issues too. And so sometimes just between meetings, I'm like, okay, I need to go. I just got a little one of those indoor trampolines. I'm like, I got to go bounce for a sec, or I need to go like walk around the building. Just
Yeah.
this morning, I needed the sunshine and, it rains a lot here and it was sunny. And I walked outside and just like walked around for a little bit because I could already feel after going through emails and stuff that I needed that before my first meeting.
Wow. I laughed because I just told my husband the other day, I was like, I need a trampoline. He was like, for what? I was like, I need to jump.
You do. It also moves the lymph, and lymph can get really slow. And that is the recycling system of your body that takes in all like the viruses and everything. And so it's really, really important for your lymph to have that rebounding. And you actually need it in not just an up and down motion, but like kind of sideways and this and that. And so your body should get jarred in different directions.
Yeah.
Um, but having that and doing it, a couple minutes here or there really does make a big difference. And it can bring your energy up, clear your lymph, and it changes your state.
That's awesome. I'm gonna make sure he hears this so he'll know. Yes, I'm gonna get her a trampoline.
Yeah. My friends moved to Costa Rica and they had one. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get
Oh,
a little
man.
trampoline because we don't have much space in here. And so it's a lot of real estate it takes up in a condo.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole.
My pleasure. So I don't know that I have a cortisol answer. I just have a little awareness and explanation of it and, some empathy that maybe sympathy because I have to deal with it too.
Yeah.
And oh, jumping rope. Yep. Jumping rope would be good too. Absolutely.
So I'm going to do that. Yeah, my husband, I never thought about it because I'm amped up all day. So by the time I get to bed, I'm still amped. I'm like still trying. He's like, can you just slow down? I'm like, I can't. So I'm guessing this is my cortisol. I'm just have to get, yeah, I'm gonna have to give me something to calm down.
Well, yeah. And so during the day, if you can take those moments, then hopefully, and then like a good 90 minutes before bed, start to get into a routine. So, I mean, we can talk about this a bit more, but like a care routine for you that might be meditation, it might be jumping on the trampoline for a bit just to run the energy out. And then it might be like a sit down and calm. And I like to have like reishi mushroom hot chocolate.
Oh,
And I'll have it during the day too, because reishi mushrooms help you to calm down. They help the nervous system. And
okay.
it doesn't make you tired during the day, but it'll help keep you calmer.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Did you see that?
I did. Oh, reishi, Reishi. Those are the calming ones, that like neurologically calming ones that don't make you sleepy, but help you chill out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, could we have a part two?
Yeah, we can have a part two. We can talk about like good bedtime routine, self-care, and continue this conversation because there's other things like your magnesium before bed and, like being off the screens. And so, yeah, I'd be happy to do a part two.